Hey everybody, Scott here. In this short video, I want to go over some of the new features in the VATS version 3.17, which should be available now as you watch this. So what I've added in this version are movement trails. Okay, so what this does is it leaves a little marker trail behind any piece that you move on the map. It's set to not display by default, but you turn it on with Control-Shift-M. Okay, so if you hit Control-Shift-M, or you can get it from the movement menu on the unit itself, there, movement trail. So as soon as you start moving that unit, you see, it leaves a trail and dots as you move the unit. And when you click off the unit, it becomes a translucent line, so it's not so distracting. You can clear them by using the move button up here, or if you're using the turn tracker, which you should be, it'll clear at the end of the fire and movement segment, and also again at the end of the assault segment too. So again, if you wanted to track your movement of units during the assault segment, you move the Control-Shift-M, will make it visible. It's actually always happening, but whether or not it's visible is turned on and off with Control-Shift-M. At the end of the close assault segment, it'll clear the lines again as well. Like I said too, you can just clear it manually with the move button up here. Oh, and if you want to, say you have it happening, but you've been moving a unit around because you had to reposition it on the board for some reason, you can reset the movement status, like this little moved tag here and any movement trail for individual units with Control and M, right? So these buttons, like the button up here with move, will clear the entire board, right? You may not want that. If there's just a single unit that you want to reset from its moved status, let's say we're viewing the movement trail too, select it and hit Control M, and you can also access that from the right-click context menu. There it is, there, marked move. So that just toggles that status or shuts it off if it's currently on, but then it will activate again automatically once you start moving the unit. Okay, so that's movement trails. What's also new is facing indicators for these side profile units, or the classic counter look, right, rather than the overheads. You can turn that on. You right-click on any unit, facing indicator. You put show facing indicator. Select show facing indicator. The shortcut's Alt-Control-I. So what you see then is a little translucent red triangle-ish type shape that you can then rotate around the counter using the menu, which is Alt-Control-0 and Alt-Control-9 for the shortcuts. So I can spin that around, and it points to a vertex, right, in accordance with the new personnel facing rules. There you go. Nice and easy. So you just shut that on and off. You don't want to see it with Control-Alt-I, on, off, and it will remember the last position too. So if you leave it there but you shut it off, you turn it back on, it will be in that same position, but you can easily fix it to whatever you need it to be. That also applies to support weapons. So typically you would, let's say you had a machine gun or like a medium machine gun or something, or maybe it applies to light machine guns too. I don't know off the top of my head right now. You would have to rotate the actual counter if you were in some kind of terrain that would limit your firing arc after you originally fired that weapon. Rather than doing that now, you can just leave the weapon in that place, in that facing, the standard facing, turn on the indicator, and then just spin the indicator around to show which direction that weapon is facing, again, towards a hex vertex. All right, what else did I want to show you about this? I know. Okay, so I've added the ability in this new version of VATS to create custom squads and half squads. Okay, right here they're called. If you look here, They're called generic. Now, the prototype itself is inside VATS 3.17, the core module, but the actual squads are not. You can get those with my own like homebrew extensions for the nationality ads that I've been supplying for a while. And I'll provide a link toward for those updates on the Facebook page, and yeah, on the Facebook page. I might stick one at the CHMB too as well. Anyways, I'll show you where to get those extensions, the nationality ads extensions that I've updated to include these actual generic squads, and they'll come in. Like you can find them too per nationality. You go to the nationality tab there, select squads, just scroll down. They'll be at the bottom most likely, where you see generic, and I've had them come in all the different uniform flavors for that particular nationality. So you can choose what uniform flavor you want. Now they all start reading 000, right? So let's take one out. What you do is choose set stats. Okay, again, that's just from the unit's right click menu. It's Alt-Shift-S is the shortcut, but here you go. So if you select that, it starts prompting you for values. So change the value of the gunfire factor, right? Okay, well, I want this to be a 5. Hit enter, and then it'll prompt you for the range value. Say, oh, this one's going to have 6 range, and say 7 morale, right? So you got a 5, 6, 7. Now, as you flip, flip it to a half squad, it will automatically do the calculation for you so that the GF and the morale stay consistent with the rules, right? So here you go, 5, 6, 7. Take a casualty step, then say I'm casualty reduced again, right? Now I'm a half squad, shut that off. I've gone to 365 from a 5, 6, 7. It will do that math for you automatically, which is pretty cool. So those are available for all the nationalities. Again, if you go to the squads for that nationality, you'll see, okay, let's just look for the generic heading. And there you go. You got your nationality squads in all the different uniform flavors you might like. So that's just for squads. I haven't done it for crews or leaders, just for squads. And, the Japanese, who only have one flavor of uniform, they're a little different because they will maintain, let's say we want 5, 4, 9, right? All Japanese units typically have a morale of 9. When you flip those, they become casualty reduced. The morale doesn't change. It will always stay a 9. So the last thing I want to show you that's new in VATS 3.17 is the ability to control and click anywhere on the main map and produce this effect. You get a red circle that highlights a stack of units or a hex or whatever you like, which will draw your opponent's attention to that location. So it would make it easier to communicate to each other where and what on the map you're speaking about exactly. So it's useful when you're declaring attacks, or you just want to discuss something about the map. I have a question about terrain on the map or anything like that. The circle will disappear automatically after about 3 seconds. And yeah, control click to get that effect. I think it's pretty good. I hope you like it too. Whee! I think that's it. That's all that's new. But especially this, best to be shown, or you might never discover it on your own. So there it is. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the new VATS. Thanks, everyone.